This is the Bite Show, hosted by me! And today, I will be drafting in a standard mock draft at the position number 10. Here we go to the big screen, and here you see the ESPN standard 10 team board. And here's the top 6 running backs I was talking about. I mean, if I were to choose one that you don't want to have, but you still would take, is Le'Veon Bell. I would definitely take Melvin Gordon over him. And the draft has started. Team Orenstein is up first, and let's wait to see where he is, where he picks. And in this situation, you always want Alvin Kamara. Saquon Barkley, I'm not sure how he's going to do with OBJ. They won't have to, the defensive team won't have to worry about Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. So I am not too sure that he should be a number 1 overall here. Ezekiel Elliott, I do think, is the second best running back. If Kamara's gone, you should get Elliott. Third is great for Christian McCaffrey. He earned that position, but I would switch Alvin Kamara with Saquon Barkley. And I wouldn't put Le'Veon Bell over Melvin Gordon because I'm not sure how Le'Veon Bell will adjust to not that great of an offensive line in New York. And Melvin Gordon has just been consistent over the last couple years. And you see on pick 10, this is meant to be when you are actually a pick 10. So, say you get pick 10 in your draft, just come watch this video and you will know what to do. And Team Orenstein is running out of clock. Please, before the draft starts, know who you're going to get. This is just annoying. And he's going to get auto-picked in just a second. So he takes Saquon Barkley again. Alvin Kamara is who you should take. And now Team Caruso is up. And we have resumed farther into the first round to pick number 6. And you look at who has been drafted already. And this is who was drafted first, Saquon Barkley, all the way down. And they were going pretty much in order. Elliott, McCaffrey, Kamara, and then what I agree with, Melvin Gordon over Le'Veon Bell. And in this position, this is a hard position. Le'Veon Bell, I really don't trust in this year for fantasy points. I really don't know what he's going to do in New York, especially because he took a season off last year. But, I mean, I am hoping as a number 10 and 11 pick that I can get David Johnson and Michael Thomas. Because Michael Thomas, like I said in my other strategy video, Michael Thomas is my favorite wide receiver this year. I mean, if you haven't watched the strategy video, please do. And, I mean, Michael Thomas. I want Michael Thomas, David Johnson, and the thing is you always have to have a backup plan. So we're going to scroll down a little bit as this person gets auto-picked. And never get a tight end in the first 2 rounds. It's just plain stupid. Never get Travis Kelce in this draft. And my backup really is going to be James Conner. I think he can have a great year. He's got that good Steelers offensive line. That's my backup pick right now. And we don't have to worry about a second backup until we're closer up. We scroll back to the top where Le'Veon Bell was picked and then DeAndre Hopkins was picked. And I disagree with that. I would pick Michael Thomas. But say Michael Thomas wasn't there, it's between Davante Adams and DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is, I think, more athletic than Davante Adams. But I trust Aaron Rodgers more than Deshaun Watson. So I would pick Davante Adams here, especially because the Packers don't really have anybody else to throw to. So if it was between DeAndre Hopkins and Davante Adams, you should pick Davante Adams. And now we are waiting for this man to go, and he picks David Johnson, and this is why you have a backup plan. That was a good pick by him. I would do the same in that situation. Like I said in my strategy video, you'd rather have a great running back than a great wide receiver. I mean, he is a stud wide receiver. I'm not too sure about him, but he was amazing when he's healthy, and he's supposedly extremely healthy. So that was a great pick by him. And now we are waiting on the next team to pick. And in my situation, if he picks Michael Thomas, I will take Davante Adams and James Conner. And if he picks James Conner, that is a bummer because you do not want to start off with 2 wide receivers. You need better running backs than better wide receivers, and that's why you want to pick more earlier than 10, 9, 8, or 7. You want more of the earlier stuff like 2 or 3. And we're just waiting on this man's decision to pick. And we are back where Davante Adams went on an auto pick. Please don't just join a draft just to not even play. But we are up and we are ready to play. And I am going to draft Michael Thomas. And then my back-to-back pick, because I'm number 10, is going to be James Conner. I mean, that's just an amazing 2 guys. James Conner, Michael Thomas. Best wide receiver. And a very stud number 1 running back. That turned out very well for us. And we are back, and we are not up for a couple picks, but these picks are auto picks. So we're going to break it down what's been happening. Running backs that are left are going fast. As you can see, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs just went. But also stud wide receivers that I was pointing out in my strategy video as I'm just about to get up. And I am on the clock as George Kittle and Zach Ertz get picked. 2 tight ends I would never pick, which is good. And right here in this situation, I would want 2 running backs. But in this situation, I'm not going to pass up on A.J. Green. He is very risky, but for a number 2 wide receiver, I am going to take him. And then I back up again, and in my strategy video, I told you the importance of Derrick Henry. He's going to have a good year this year, and that is who I'm going to take for my number 2 running back. And now I have 2 good wide receivers, 2 good running backs, and that is it for now. And we're back, and this is the board that's left. Cooper Kupp, Alshon Jeffrey, James White, Chris Carson, Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, and you know who I would want right there is Kenny Golladay, but he got drafted earlier, so that's a bummer. You want Kenny Golladay on your team, and that's a big bummer. And as you can see already, I have James Conner, Derrick Henry, Michael Thomas, and A.J. Green. So right now, I really want to get depth on running back. Let's look at the running backs that are available. So we got Philip Lindsay, who in my strategy video, I pointed him out. I want to get him, but let's look at everybody else. Everybody else kind of falls off after Mark Ingram to the 60 position. So I'm going to take Philip Lindsay. Now that we got a 3rd running back as our flex player, let's look back to all of the positions. And we look there, and in my video, I mentioned how DJ Moore would have a good year, but also Calvin Ridley. And I'm telling you people, I would take Calvin Ridley. But you look at my wide receivers. They have 9 bye. Week 9 is their bye. Calvin Ridley's week is 9. So I'm not going to take him, but I will take DJ Moore. Or actually, since I have AJ Green, I'm actually thinking of Tyler Boyd because AJ Green, his one downfall is injury. So he would be the next guy up. But after thinking this through in my head, I'm going to take DJ Moore just because of the bye week. And that's a bummer because usually bye weeks you do not want affecting your draft. But in this case it does. But now I have a fairly deep team in positions. And now I'm going to wait for wide receivers because I already have 3. And in my strategy video I told you, you only need 4 wide receivers. So I'm going to wait a while for wide receivers. And you always want to get running backs. Running backs kind of drop off right at the 10th round. So you need to get them fast. And that will probably be my next picks. And that is it for now. And we are back. And saddening news for me, Tevin Coleman went much earlier than everybody expected. And that is sort of a reach pick. And that would usually not happen in an actual draft. But I gotta admit, it was a pretty good pick, but that is a bummer for me. And now some autos are going by, and I'm just about to be up. And right now, I am going to try to get a running back. So let's look at the available running backs at the time. And there's not anybody I like right here. This is a very big bummer. You should never panic when it comes like this, because I wanted Tariq Cohen, who was drafted much before this. And I'm just going to look at all positions, really. I don't want to get a running back right now. Quarterbacks are still very deep right now. I'm just going to scroll around a little bit. Hopefully we can find somebody who's at least a little good. And I think I'm going to pick a tight end a little earlier in this draft. You technically don't want to do this early, but Jared Cook is there. And Jared Cook is an amazing wide receiver, especially because I already have Michael Thomas. That's going to be a great addition to my team, and I shall pick him. Tough part about this is I am up again. And who I really trust, I mean, the only reason I don't like him is because of Chris Carson on the Seattle Seahawks. It's Rashad Penny, and that seems like the best option out there, so I will pick Rashad Penny. And we are back with a disappointed buddy after seeing the worst draft board I have ever seen. And I'm just about to be up and looking. I want another running back to finish my running back position because I already have 4 and I want 5. And you look down here, Jordan Howard. Don't trust the Eagles running game. Peyton Barber. Don't trust the Buccaneers at all. Ronald Jones, another Buccaneer that I do not trust at all. But Jerick McKinnon, I told you in the strategy video I like him because Tevin Coleman might not pan out. So I'm going to take Jerick McKinnon right here. And here we are going in. Right now you don't want a quarterback because if you look at the quarterbacks, there's lots of quarterbacks still there. Cam Newton, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, and the one I want, which is Drew Brees. So I can wait until my next pick to get Drew Brees. So we're going to look back at all positions. And I showed you in my video, I mean, none of these guys I really don't trust. They're all basically backups except Courtland Sutton. Showed you in my strategy video. He's the best Broncos wide receiver. So I'm going to take him with high reward if he pans out. And we're back, and we are in the 11th round, and I'm having a pretty good draft right now. I mean, my backup running backs could be a little better, but I'm happy about getting Jerick McKinnon. I mean, my first 5 guys, which is James Conner, Derrick Henry, Michael Thomas, AJ Green, and Philip Lindsay, are amazing, so I'm happy with that, and I am just about to come back up. And here in this round, 11 or 12, you want quarterbacks, and not only is the quarterback I want gonna fall right to me, Mr. Drew Brees, he's falling right to me. This is where you get him, and I wouldn't be in. It's not that bad to get him in the 10th round, especially in my position where you have 2 of his receivers as your starters. So I'm gonna take him right now, drafted, and here, I mean, I would take another quarterback if Russell Wilson was still on the board, but as you can see, he was drafted much earlier. So the only quarterback I like out of these, Big Ben, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and Kyler Murray, is Kyler Murray. I mean, he could go seriously off. You never know. It's a great risk reward for your backup quarterback, as I explained in the strategy video. And I'm up, and I do need a backup tight end. And this is a great round to do it, so I'm going to look at the tight ends available right now. And there's Jack Doyle, Greg Olsen, and Kyle Rudolph are the people I'm looking at right now for maybe actually getting him. And Jack Doyle, he is the backup tight end to the Colts, so I'm not really sure about you want him there. But Greg Olsen, I mean, he is the backup backup that you want. Greg Olsen, he could go completely off, be the best tight end this year. I mean, it's a great risk reward, and I'm going to pick him right now. And we are back, and we're looking at defenses while the clock is ticking down. Rams, Bills, Vikings, Saints, Chargers, Patriots, Colts, and Broncos at the bottom. And like I said in my strategy video, you want Colts and Broncos as your defense. So I'm going to pick the Colts here. And in my next pick, I am going to pick the Broncos defense. Back-to-back defense is not a bad way to go. And we are going to stay tuned because the rest are auto picks all the way to my next pick. So stay tuned. Never mind, this guy is still in. So see you on my next pick. Back on the clock where I was hoping to get Kyler Murray, but we look at the quarterbacks now and he is clearly gone. We have Mitchell Trubisky, Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers is weirdly extremely low. He's a good backup, and he could be a top 10 quarterback this year, so I'm going to take him. And my next pick is going to be my last pick. It is the kicker, and we look at the kickers. You see Harrison Butker, Stephen Gostkowski, and Will Lutz. I told you how Will Lutz goes very early in the last round, and this is why he's an amazing Saint, and especially when you have a team filled with Saints as your quarterback, one of your best wide receiver, and your tight end. You really want that extra kicker, which is Will Lutz, and we're going to draft him right here. And then we are going to do a recap on the team. We got Drew Brees, amazing quarterback. That's who I tended to get. You could wait on him, and he's still going to be a great quarterback for the season. James Conner, great running back. He's going to do good this year. He's going to do good this year, and he's on the Steelers. Great offensive line. We go on to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, Titans offensive line is very good. They're a run-first team. He's going to put up some good yard points. We move to Michael Thomas, best wide receiver. I've explained it. And I am so proud I got that pick. AJ Green, a little iffy, but still a great number 2 wide receiver. Jared Cook. The only reason I really like Jared Cook, and I'm really excited about him, is because he's a Saint. And with Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, him, that's a great trio. And I look forward to having that trio score me some big points. Phillip Lindsay is there. I mean, he's a great running back. He's very speedy. He's going to definitely put up some big points for the Broncos and for your fantasy team. Defense, I have the Colts, and down here is the Broncos defense. Those are 2 great defenses with great probability of getting good numbers every week. And the Colts play in the AFC South, which is more of a defense-first division. So they're going to put up against more weaker offenses. We move to Will Lutz. He just secures the trio of Brees, Thomas, and Cook. He just gets, you aren't upset when they kick a field goal anymore. When the Saints kick a field goal, you're fine with that because you get those points still. We move to my third wide receiver, DJ Moore. I mean, Panthers have potential, and if they're going to succeed that potential, they need him to put up big numbers. Then, Penny for the Seahawks. I mean, I'm not too confident in him, but he's a good number 4 running back because you never know about Pete Carroll. He might just go off this season. Jerick McKinnon of the 49ers, I mean, he is good, and I do think Tevin Coleman's going to start above him, but Tevin Coleman, you never know. There's injuries, and the 49ers could have a great running season this year. Courtland Sutton, who I wanted to get as my 4th wide receiver this whole time. I mean, he's the best wide receiver on the Broncos, and if the Broncos are gonna pass to anybody this year, it's gonna be Courtland Sutton. And then my backup tight end, who I always want him as my backup tight end, is Greg Olsen. I mean, I've explained it in my strategy video. On this video, he could go off. That in my Broncos defense. And Phillip Rivers is a great backup. Has extreme experience, and he does have a pretty deep team around him. You never know what could happen from him. This has been The Buddy Show. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe.